following is a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 1.
Hello everyone and welcome back to MRE UNO's Arcade April, continuing the All-Star 8 round here in the second tournament of the D1 season. I'm your host G-Man, and we have our third match of the round and our second stream of the round. It's going to be a Legend v Legend battle between number 1 seed Nick, the last 1 seed of the tournament right now, going up against number 6 seed Brad. Two former tournament winners going at it here. Nick winning 2025 March Madness and Brad winning the 2024 Tournament 3. I don't remember what that one was called off the top of my head, but yeah, two tournament winners going at it for a spot in the Final Four. Should be a good one here. Honestly, this entire right side of the bracket actually is all tournament winners here, as do not have an updated bracket, unfortunately. Did get one. It didn't have time to make an edit on my end, but nonetheless, we'll walk you through what happened here. Start off with the joystick region yesterday. Ridley with a very dominant 5-0 win. That game was not very close, unfortunately, but Ridley getting the win, moving on to the Final Four for the second straight season in a row in Tournament 2, but the first time in D1 in their careers. They're a new promotee for this season, as they were in D2 last season. And we just wrapped up myself versus Ard. I walk away with the win 5-2 in that one. Again, that matchup was looking pretty close in the first half, but then kind of ran away with it in the second half. Had a dominant Game 7 hand that kind of sealed the match right then and there. But I move on to the Final Four once again. Title defense keeps on going, and as I mentioned before, that leaves that right side of the bracket where it's all former tournament winners, and all three of them are going to be looking to try to be the first person to win two tournaments in 2 different seasons. That has never been done before. The only repeat tournament winners have happened in the same season. No one has ever done it in 2 different seasons. So one of them is guaranteed to make the finale here. I have already booked my spot in the Final Four. We'll see who books the other part in the Final Four matchup tonight between Nick and Brad. And then wrapping it up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be Lane and Brock. 2 players looking for their second career Final Four appearances, and first since 2024. So we're going to get 2 different sides of the bracket here for the Final Four. Players who have been very experienced, have done very well in tournaments in the past, and then players who have only really have Final Four experience. Brock has made a finale before, but no tournament win for him. So this is going to be a very interesting remainder of the tournament here. We got a lot of different storylines to follow, so we'll see who comes out on top. But this, for now, we are going to go to the ticket regional final here and decide the 3rd spot into the Final Four. Don't have a preview graphic for this one, unfortunately. I will read off the stats, though. I have it on a notepad here. This is going to be Legend v Legend between Nick and Brad. Their records for this tournament, both have gotten a lot of wins this tournament. 10-2 versus 13-4. Nick with that DQ win in the opening round, and then won 4-2 in the round of 32 and a 5-0 sweep. Very dominant in the round of 16. And then for Brad, 13-4, has played all 3 matches and has done so in very convincing fashion. So another thing that's been convincing, another one that's been in convincing fashion, round of 8 record. Nick is 2-0 in this round. So that's gonna be it's interesting. He's going to look for 3 in a row here. He's currently never lost in this round before. But Brad has also a pretty good record in this round. 3-1. He does have a loss in this round, but he also has more matches in this round, so has a slight experience edge there. So both players have been very good in this round of 8, Elite 8, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be a clash between the two of them to see who can emerge with the win and make it to another Final Four. It would be Nick's third. It would be Brad's fourth. Um, and then for the accolades, Nick has a trophy from his win in 2025 March Madness and a bronze medal as well, which came from, I believe, another tournament in 2025, I want to say. No, actually, no, that came from 2026 March Madness, actually, my mistake. And then for Brad, has the treble of the gold, silver, bronze, so one each. Gold of 2024 Tournament 3, silver of 2025 Tournament 3, and then the bronze medal. I don't quite remember off the top of my head where he got that bronze medal, but he does have all 3 and is looking to add a second of one of those here. We'll see if he can do it, or maybe he can create a true complete collection with a 4th place finish. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think anyone's ever done that before, let alone the 1, 2, 3. So, Brad maybe can be looking to get that one there. But yeah, and then the CPU prediction has Nick winning at 5-3, but we've seen the CPU prediction doesn't always translate to how things play out on the table here, so we'll see how it goes down here as we go live to the table now. No co-commentary tonight, but I am joined by our ref Scars and both our players here who are ready and raring to go. Nick, I'm going to start with you since you're the higher seed. Been a good run for you so far. Been a great start for you overall in the season so far. You have 6 wins plus a DQ win. I believe besides Mark, that is the most out of anyone so far. So, yeah, you were off to a very strong start here. But what are your thoughts coming into this matchup here? You're going up against Brad, who's definitely been a very tough opponent in a lot of these tournaments, and is really on an early season surge. We usually see Brad kind of jump into the picture around tournament 3, but doing it a tournament earlier than I think some people were expecting, and maybe even he was expecting. But just kind of thoughts going into this one here, and what do you got to do to make it to the Final Four once again?
Nah, Brad's figured out the T2. He's figured out how to win in T2. The rest of the league is cooked, man. But regardless, just in general, Brad is just a really, really good opponent. Regardless of league, whether it's in myths or here, he knows how to get it done. Whether you go low tier, high tier, no matter what. He's proved it again and again that he's one of the top echelon in this league, and it's a tough get to get Brad in the Elite Eight here, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a good match. Just grateful to have the success that I've had so far early on into the year. No tournament win, but I still feel like 7 wins to start the year. Can't complain with that, really. We're just going to see how this one goes. Just got to keep doing the same sort of brand of Uno that's gotten me to this position this early in the year and see how the cards fall.
Right, thank you, Nick. Going over the Brad here. Brad, this is actually a first-time matchup between the two of you. Both of you debuted in the 2024 season. Now this will be the first time you go head-to-head in the league. You mentioned it before that you've had the treble of medals in your career, only person to do so, and you're looking for your 4th career Final Four. Also mentioned that usually Tournament 3 is where you start searching, but you've been having a really good run in Tournament 2, and I know you've been going with a bit more of a pessimistic approach so far throughout this run. But just in general, how are you feeling going into tonight, and any expectations coming into this matchup?
I'm feeling ready. I think I just have to tune out the noise about, oh, I've never done this well in T2 before, it's not T3. Because Nick's a strong opponent. I can't let that worry me. I just have to play Uno and be focused on that.
Fair enough. We'll see what ends up happening in this one. But that'll do it for the pregame. It'll be best of 9, 2 power play in this one. So third regional final, third All-Star 8 matchup getting underway here. Nick will have the call for game 1, and we will get things rolling here in just a second.
The old bread and butter, 15 cards, please.
All right, old bread and butter, full send for game number 1. We are starting big here, and it's going to be a red 4 to kick this series off. We are underway, and we'll see what both players end up having to start this game out. Yeah, it could be a pivotal series for both here, as both players were in Super League last season, looking to return once again, and this could be a big time head-to-head victory they could pick up with a result here, especially with both having aspirations to return the Super League once more at the end of this season. But gonna get things rolling here. Both looking through their cards. We'll see what Nick decides to go with his first play, and he's gonna switch the color right off the bat. So interesting start there. We've seen more of a frequency of people liking the color switch off the start here, so Nick gonna kind of fall in line with that, but we'll see how Brad responds, whether he maybe tries to go for a crossover or if he'll just roll with the yellow. He will go for the crossover. He's gonna go in the blue, and potential early rainbow possibility here. There you go, rainbow on the first turn. Rainbow start to kick this one off here. Without the Skittles. I don't know if that's the first time that's ever happened, but I can't remember the last time I did. But yeah, both players going through the entire color selection on the first 2 turns here, and now we're just gonna roll with green for the moment. All right, yellow 2. Do we try to look for another rainbow here potentially, or? Okay, now we're gonna go for a crossover back in the green, but we're seeing a lot of color switches so far in this game 1. There's another color switch. We go in the red. Both are just loving to switch the color early in this series. Right, gonna roll with red for the moment, and Nick is gonna keep color switching trend going with another one to yellow this time. And again, Brad is gonna just do another crossover. Goes back in the red. Did it before in green. Now goes in the red. Nick just gonna have to roll with it this time. And first ammo card played by Brad, and it's going to be a +2, so Nick gets 2 more cards here. Just both keep trotting on down through the deck. Yellow 8. Another switch from Nick. We've been seeing a lot of early switches here. Brad with the first draw of the game there on yellow. Nick will keep it going. Brad keeps on drawing on yellow, though. Has no more. And Nick gonna switch it again and extend that lead. May free up Brad with that play, though. Sorry about that. Alright, so Brad actually switches at the green. Nick with no green, and it's gonna have to draw for the first time in this game. Was kind of running it down on the cards, but it's gonna get stopped here. Gonna try to look for that quick switch, will not get it. Right. Nick gonna keep on drawing here. Brad gonna keep on playing the green, looking to flip the script here. Continue the run down the cards. Nick's still drawing, cannot find anything on green, and cannot find a switch out. And Brad just still playing the green here. Has a lot of it and has really been running it down. What will Nick do here? Taking a second. We're about 7 minutes into this game. Alright, Nick has the switch here, gonna go into red. Just really pondering that switch for a while, because I mean, it could help Brad more. And it may not have mattered as +4 play from Brad, and that will do a 3-card finish on that one. Ends at 7:59 or 8 minutes on the dot, either or. 8 minutes on the dot for that one. And Brad will open up the series with the 1-0 lead. So gets it done there. I mean, Brad only had 2 self draws in that game and 2 cards drawn overall because didn't have any +2s or whatnot thrown at him. But kind of an interesting start to this series here. We saw so many color switches in the beginning of game 1 and then just kind of settled down. Brad kind of struggled a little bit on the blue, I believe. Yeah. No, on the yellow. Struggled a little bit on the yellow, but then found the switch to green, which ended up being Nick's weakness, and from there just kind of ran away with it to close that one out. But Brad, just kind of thoughts on game 1. Were there any big draws you were able to pick up that kind of helped you get to that finish, or were you just kind of holding on to that +4 from the start and hoping for the best?
So, well, I actually had the +4 all the way at the start and the skip. The only draws were just numbers, but one of them was green, one of them was blue, which is perfect because those were the colors I needed anyway, and I had the 2 green 5s, which was really helpful, and I checked the card history. The other numbers I played, like they've already been played earlier, and I used the 2 8s to my advantage.
All right, well, I'll do it for game 1 here. Not a whole lot, not a whole lot to comment just ask Nick on that one. Just kind of struggling on green there, and ultimately ran out of time to make a move there when he was able to finally make one. So I guess the only question I have for Nick now is what will the call be for game 2?
You were not there for the anecdote, but the anecdote is I have this. It was actually it was last Sunday. I went to go get Chinese, and you know how you get fortune cookies when you get Chinese food, and they give you the lucky
Yep.
numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of lucky numbers here. Obviously, I can't do like a 47 card start or a 16 card start or an 18 card start or a 45 card start or a 1 card start for that matter. But 10 I can do. 10 is my lucky number, so I'm going to run with that.
All right, Nick is basing his card starts off a piece of paper he received when he ate Chinese food. So we'll see how that strategy goes for him.
It worked last time. It worked last
with,
time. That's what I'm gonna say.
With the green 3.
The results speak for themselves. I
Gonna
let
be
the Uno speak for itself.
the moment Nick does not eat Chinese food before a match and doesn't have a piece of paper to dictate his card starts is where he's gonna completely fall apart. But anyways, green 3, just kick things off. Nick looking to tie at 1-1. We have a D2 match going on right now as well. It's a play-in match between Cody Goldforth, who was a former D1 player in 2023, against Jabba, who's a newcomer. Koji's actually up 3-1 right now, so could be looking for that first true win, possibly. But anyways, back to this game. Green 7 from Nick, but Brad's going to switch it right off the bat. Ooh, and we 3-card run from Nick there. Just kind of settling in, and going to be a yellow play from Brad. Just going to keep running yellow here. Nick does have the lead. Alright, green 9, green 1. Nick with the switch there. Gonna keep running it down here. Nick does have that lead at the moment. In a decent spot to tie this one up, but we'll need to capitalize and finish. Brad just kind of rolling with the colors for now. Nick gets to switch the blue. Now what does Brad do? Just gonna, again, roll with the colors here. Goes with the blue too. And Nick, wow, that's a switch where he has no play, so was hoping to get bailed out there and did not. Brad just gonna keep it going. Both are now low. Brad at 4 cards. Nick at 3. Nick at 4. Both have 4 cards now. And now Brad is out as well. It's a double play in the draw from Brad. Nick will get that top deck though with the blue one. Brad taking a while to type here. Okay, so we got our chain going on here with the +2s. Blue +2, red +2, makes the +6. Maybe looking to go in the red. 3 cards left, and it's a red 7, so +6 to Nick. We'll throw him back. And we got a new color here as Brad's down to 2, and Nick with 6 more extra cards in his hand. Red 7, red 1. Gets the Uno on red 6. So yeah, Brad shut out on the red, Nick kind of rolling with the blue, but Brad gonna switch the yellow now. Brad back down to 2. Gets back to Uno again. Nothing from Nick. Can Brad finish? No, no finish once again. That's 2 in a row from Brad. He's still looking for that finisher to make it 2-0. Both, well, I was about to say both drawing on yellow, but Nick just got a top deck on yellow 4. Brad gonna keep drawing. Does Nick look for the switch? No, he does not. He's gonna keep drawing as well. Another draw from Nick. A draw from Brad, and draws just keep on going here. Draw City on the yellow. Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of going to be a bit of a reset here. Neither with yellow, and again, these games kind of, nothing has been quick so far on these games. Both have just kind of been playing it the way it's laid out, and neither's been able to get that big run to the finish yet. So, kind of keep on going here. Still a lot of cards left in the deck, though. Hasn't been that long of a time. We're only at 8 minutes. So still got a while to go through this deck. Alright, and Nick's gonna break up the Draw City with a wild. That's the first of either type to be played in this game so far. So there's still a lot of +4s left. There's still a lot of wilds left, so those could factor in later on. But now both are gonna get rolling here in the blue. Alright, red 1 from Brad. And red 5 from Nick. Reds keep on going here. Brad with the red 8. Yeah, try to play into the blue now. 5 blue 8. Bit of a type from Nick here, and that will do it. There it is, 5-card finish on that one, 954. Nick will tie it up at 1-1. Just gets the job done there. Nick, that was I mean, that game was kind of back and forth. There were points where Brad was very close to finishing it, but was a card too short. You were kind of laying back, couldn't really find the answers until late there, but able to get it done with the 5-card finish, and then had that +4 there thrown in as well. Just kind of walk me through how that game went from your perspective. Any moves you want to point out that you made in specific, and just kind of overall how you're able to get the win there.
It was largely just a matter of staying patient. I had some ammo off the start, but I obviously got bogged down in some draw cities. Got a good chunk of ammo back off the draw cities. And once I felt comfortable, I just went for it, and Brad didn't seem really to have much to counter it. So it's just a matter of knowing when to break out of those draw cities, and for that game specifically, at least. So I thought I played that really, really well.
All right, well, gonna move on to game 3 here. Brad with the homestand now. Brad mentioned nothing he could have done there to stop that run, so it's just kind of along for the ride there after that last draw city concluded. So Brad has the game 3 call, can't pick 15. We'll see where he decides to go here. Could go with the OG full sound 13. And blue reverse to kick things off now. We'll see how both approach it here, as we got another high tier start for game 3. Alright, blue 8. Brad just gonna keep it blue. We saw Nick switch it. Oh, we saw Brad switch it in the last game on his first turn, but gonna keep it blue for now. We'll see if Nick decides to switch the color, but no, he will keep it blue as well. So first turn that we get through the original color. We're both just gonna keep playing blue. Keeping it simple for now. Alright, we got the switch there from Nick, but Brad's going to say not so fast and quits the crossover into the red 5. It's another yellow 5, and that's another rainbow, second rainbow of the series. So getting quite a few of those so far. So we'll pour out the Skittles on that one. But yeah, now we run yellow for the time being. Alright, green 2. And got a little play here from Brad. 3-card switch into yellow here, puts him down to 6 cards. First ammo cards of this game, excluding the start. But both have just been running Plan A so far. Nothing too crazy from either, just kind of running numbers, and then for Brad having that 3-card run there. Alright, switch the red from Nick. Now we roll red here after Nick switched into the red. Still no self-draw so far, but Brad with the lead. Oh, Nick's gonna go for the power play here. May have something lined up, but it's also behind, so maybe trying to maybe steal a game from Brad here with the power play. Alright, we're at 6, and then we got the big run here. Played the red 6, and then it's 1, 2, 3. Looking for a 8-card, looking for a 6-card finish here, and there it is. And Nick has it. 4 minutes on that one, and Nick will make it 2-1 with the power play usage there. 359, but Nick gets the win. That's going to be a second in a row. Nick, you go for the power play on that one. End up being a little behind, but in a plan A game, decide to go for it there. Thought process on using your first power play in this game for that move.
We got 2 power plays. I mean, I might as well. I mean, there's not. I mean, I was just fearful of the switch off the red 6 potentially throwing a wrench into things, or him having a 4-card run to the end. I didn't really have any wilds or wild +4s, so wouldn't be unheard of for him to have one in the back pocket there. Just better safe than sorry in that scenario, especially when you got 2 of them. You can just you open the playbook up a little bit more when it comes to that sort of stuff when you get to 2 power play territory. So even if it would have, even if it is sort of a waste, if what Brad is saying is true that he couldn't have done anything anyways, I still feel good about it in a vacuum at least.
All right, well, game 3 is yours. Brad mentioned couldn't stop the run once again, but Brad looking to not make it 3 straight for Nick with the game 4 call. Let's see what he decides here. Gonna go 1 up to 14. So liking the heights here at the moment. I mean, did win on 15. We'll see how this goes here. Start with the green 4, and game 4 is underway. Brad looking to tie it up 2-2. Nick looking to make it 3-1. Alright, 1 up from the starting card. Gonna be a green 5. Draws keep on. Alright. Gonna keep it on the starting color once again for the second game in a row in the first turn. We'll see who goes for the first switch, but both gonna roll with green for now. There's the first switch. Nick gonna do it on his second turn. And Brad says, not so fast. I'm gonna cross you over into the blue. Does not want to let Nick have it. And Nick just gonna have to roll with the blue for now. Alright, blue 3 from Brad. Just gonna keep the blue train going. Again, this is kind of a similar start to the last game. We're both just kind of slowly rolling down on their numbers here. Switch the yellow from Nick. Will he get the switch he wanted this time? No, Brad will deny it once again, this time with a chain into blue, 3 cards switch back into blue. Kind of reminiscent of the last game as well, when that was the first ammo usage of that one. And they're gonna say not so fast, gonna switch it into red. Kind of staying away from the blue for the moment. Brad says, no, I have another one. We're gonna run blue and you're gonna like it. Now, what does Nick do here? Does he have another red 8, or is he going to have to face his demons here on the blue? Nick was typing. We'll see what he comes up with next. Oh man, big run from Nick here. Is that it? He's at 10 cards. That's he played 7 cards, but the second half has not registered yet. Oh, it didn't register because he forgot to play. Oh, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he realized that the second message did not send. Uh, maybe maybe that was supposed to be something else. I'm not sure. Brad switches it into red nonetheless, and Nick's gonna have to draw. And Brad's just gonna throw 2 more cards on his hand for the sake of it. Brad down to 3. Nick is back up to 7. Wild blue from Brad, looking to be inching closer to that victory here to tie it up at 2-2. Wild play from Brad, waiting for the response from Nick. And Nick did not feel safe there, has a +4, gonna use it there and switches it in the yellow. I believe that's only the 3rd +4 of the entire series, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's only the 3rd one. We have not seen that +4 come out too many times so far. Brad just gonna roll with the yellow for now after getting +4'd. And Nick gonna go with it as well as he was wanting. That's gonna open the door for Brad to get that switch to blue. We'll see now what Nick does here. Crossover in the red, though. Does not want that blue. Gonna go use that 2 to his advantage, though, get into the red. Ooh, and oh wow, Brad might sneak away with this one and take it. No, he's just gonna get the Uno here. Has the +4, but 3-card play to get the Uno. Nick up to 6 cards. And Nick gonna have a +2, looking to save the game there. It's a close one. Nick out 4 cards, Brad at 3. Brad able to switch it to yellow. We'll see where he goes with this, but this is going to be a bit unpredictable for Nick here. Gonna have to be careful. Nick just gonna play the yellow for now. Brad looking to get back to Uno once more. And he will on the yellow 7. Nick has nothing left on yellow. Can Brad finish it? No, he is 1 card short. +2 threw off whatever he was going for potentially. But both drawing on the yellow now. Draws keep on coming here. Brad taking a second to type. Gets a blue 7. Back into the blue. Goes down to 2 cards. Can he capitalize? Alright, now what does Nick do here? Gonna have to think through this one. Just a quick D2 update here. We have a 40-minute game 5 right now going on. So that's kind of interesting, but going back to this D1 game, Nick decided to go for the switch to the red. Brad did not have it. Nick able to run the red now, but he runs out, and now we're back at Draw City. Draws keep on coming for both here. Alright, Brad switched the blue. Nick says not so fast, going into green. That's going to break Draw City. Both at kind of the middle low range here. Nick at 6, Brad at 5. Past 10 minutes here for the first time in this series. Brad taking a minute to make his next play. Again, for him in this game, would like to be tied up at 2-2, but he has no play. Gonna have to draw. Or maybe he does and just kind of holding back. We'll see. We've seen that in the past before. Some people do that. Alright, Nick gonna keep going on the green with the green 3. Another draw from Brad. Nick gonna play the green 6, just kind of slowly running it down. Brad gonna get the switch out of green into yellow, looking to try to disrupt Nick's path. Brad gonna need to take a minute, he says. Alright, Nick down to 3. Brad gonna take a minute before his next turn. Let's see what Brad does here. Yellow 6, yellow 5. And we'll see what Brad does when he is back. Now, game's just kind of on a bit of a pause here as we're 13 minutes, 30 seconds in. Longest game of the series so far. Again, still waiting to see what Brad will do here. Just gonna take a minute or two. Soon, maybe 3. Alright, again, while we're waiting, just a reminder, last All-Star 8 match will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Should hopefully have ALP joining in the booth with me for that one. I believe that'll be the first time we co-commentate together, so should be an interesting experience, but will be Lane and Brock going for the last Final Four spot, and for both players, their second career Final Four, so we'll see who gets it done. Winner of that will face Ridley. Meanwhile, while this one's still going on, winner of this will face myself in the Final Four. I think the interesting thing with how this Final Four is shaping up is we're going to have, no matter who wins these last 2 matches, 4 very interesting stories from 4 different players going into the final 3 matches of the tournament here. So we'll see how this all plays out for everyone involved. The D2 game has gone to 46 minutes now and is still going on. While we're waiting, I have that on my phone here. At this point, also, we'll probably deduct a little bit of time. All right. All right. Brad is back. Probably should deduct like 4 minutes on that one. And gonna be a switch to red. Red 5-1 down for Nick. Red 4. Brad with nothing though. Tried to go for the ice out switch. It did not work for the moment. Will it work on this turn though? Or does it benefit Nick? Oh man, switches into blue. I don't think that's what Brad was wanting there. Nick down the Uno. What can Brad do here? We do have another color in the mix here. But is it double blue or is it maybe another switch? We'll have to see. Or maybe something else entirely. Brad taking a second to think what he's got to do. Was Brad holding on to any cards they might use now? Has the +2, so we'll save it for now. Goes down to 4. Nick back up to 3. Nick able to play the blue too. That could have been the finish right there. Alright, Brad with blue 5. Can Nick get back to Uno? And Nick wins it. Wow. Nick gets the +4 from the +2 there. Unfortunate for Brad there on that one. But Nick able to get it done. It makes it 3-1. We'll subtract 4 minutes from that game 4 there, but 3 in a row for Nick here as he gets the job done. Yeah, Nick, longest game of the series so far. That one definitely was a bit of more of an endurance test for the both of you, but you end up coming out on top. I mean, won it off the +4 from the +2 you received there, but I'm curious what your last card was, whether it was the blue 2 or the red 9 to try to close that game out.
It was in fact the blue 2, so it wasn't like Brad didn't need to use the +2 there. He loses regardless, but yeah, I was fully expecting after the +2 for it to. Well, just in general, it had the vibes of a reshuffle game, that whole sequence. But no, I was just able to get the right switches at the right time. Luckily enough, his attempts to ice on the yellow and then the red perfectly set up that bailout opportunity. And yeah, just lucked out getting that +4 off the top. So heading into back in the home stand up 3-1. About as good as you can hope for up against Brad. So we'll see how the rest of this goes.
All right, I want a quick comment here for Brad, but before that, I just want to update anyone who's keeping track of it. The D2 game just ended, game 5. After 48 minutes, Jabba gets the win to make it 3-2. So that series is still going on, but a crazy long game over in D2 right now. That's technically the last match of the night. Well, there's a match at midnight, so technically not also, but Brad, going to you, has kind of haven't really been able to find what you were looking for there. I mean, you mentioned 5 opportunities to get a bailout, didn't get it. Anything you feel could be different from your end, whether it's just kind of how the cards go, or maybe a different way approach to how you're playing the cards. All right, Brad, gotta type his answer on this one here. Don't really know. Haven't left much ammo in my hand. All right, so Brad trying to find answers here, but Nick's gonna have the call for game 5 here in a good spot, looking to try to make it 4-1. We'll see what Nick decides to go for. No 10, 13, or 14.
I'm going to do 12 cards.
All right, just gonna kind of keep it in that upper half here with 12. And we got a +4 start. +4 start here. Nick gonna draw. Brad, we'll see what he does. He will draw as well. Culture gets initiated here, and now we're technically at a 13 card start. And we'll see what color Nick decides to start on. All right, Nick, take it a second to think what he wants to start on. He's going to start with blue here, blue 1. We'll see how Brad approaches this one. There's a lot of different ways to approach these wild starts here. It could be, depending on what you decide to do, could work well for you for the rest of the game, or could be a disaster. Brad's going to switch it off into the yellow here. We'll see if that's what Nick wanted, or if he maybe wanted to run blue for a bit. Well, he plays the yellow. We won't necessarily have the answer right away, but gonna play the yellow 7 for now. Brad gonna roll with the yellow, like in the yellow early on. When a big run here goes back into blue, so Nick wanting to go back into the blue here with a 3-card run. Brad just gonna roll with it for now. No switch on that one this time. Does Nick try to go for another blue here? We'll see. I mean, no, Nick is out. Did not actually want that, so wanted to try to find a switch out right away and did not get it on the 6. So Brad maybe in a decent spot here to capitalize, and he will do so by switching it into yellow. Can you force another draw out of Nick here? Nick typing. We'll see. Oh my, jeez, that's a plus 12 there when we go in the green, and that is gonna throw Brad really far back. 21 cards, so he has come back here. But Dick's down to 5. Wow, that one kind of came out of nowhere. And yeah, I think that's the wise move from Brad there. Switch it back into the blue here, hoping there's no 3 crossover there. And there will not be. Nick gonna have to draw there. Brad gonna have to work this hand to try and make this up. Never draw. Alright, another draw from Nick here. After the switch to the yellow. Yeah, have a note of 21, at least in my mind, at least for the final write-up. So, Nick continuing the draw here. Brad trying to abuse this blue and yellow. Alright, crossover into the blue. Nick tried to go into the red, which looked to be one of his safer colors, but Bracket to deny it. But Nick has a blue in his hand. So able to have a play for this turn. Bracket to play the blue 3, trying to force that draw out from Nick. And he will get it this time. So Nick gonna draw again. We'll see if that plus 12 ended up being a bit too early for Nick there. May end up blowing up in his face. Blue 1 from Brad. Another draw from Nick. Brad again just trying to use this blue and yellow as much as he can. These are the 2 colors that there's just not much Nick has on it, but Brad gonna give him some freedom here as he's gonna go into green. So Nick will be able to play this. And Bull's just kind of running green now. Brad's still behind, but the gap is a bit more manageable now. It's only 5.5. Maybe looking to make it less here with a run. No, he's just going to play a number and going to keep the gap the place where it is. And Nick going to go into the red here, which he did want before. Alright, red 7, red 2. And the red 9. Nick kind of slowly running his way down after being released from his draw cycle. Brad trying to manage it, and will manage it there. Gonna throw a +6 his way, turns the favor a little bit, and will end up making Nick draw 6, and now Brad takes the lead with that play. Alright, run from Brad here. Have the reverses going. He's down to 5. Could he be looking for a run to the finish? He is still a bit of ways away, but he did get thrown. He did get thrown a +12 earlier, but he's just gonna close it off at 4. Does not have a blue 6, but we'll play the red 6. So slight mistype there, but that does slightly reveal something, but it may not be that useful. Alright, we'll see what Nick does here. He's at 9 cards. Trying to think this one through as we go back into red. Oh, I just got to go for the +4 there. Didn't like where Brad was at and is going to throw 4 cards his way. And we'll retake the lead with that one, but only slightly. Alright, now what does Brad do? Because he has 4 more cards in his hand. This is going to be a pivotal game for him because he does not want to go down 4-1. We've seen how the series have gone in the last 2 rounds so far. We've seen some pretty lopsided games. So, I mean, if it goes 4-1, it's not going to be a good sign for him. Green Skip will take the lead with this play here. And it's going to be a 4-card play into red. So it takes the lead back again. Gonna go back down to 4. Nick's up to 7 cards. There's a similar situation we were in before because Nick used his power play in a very similar spot in game 3. We'll just play a number for this one on red, but Brad with the lead at the moment. Ooh, and Brad with the +2. Can he finish it off? Looking for that 21 card comeback. He's down to 2. Kind of slowly walking his way down here. And that will do it. Brad with that 21 card comeback there. And gets one back to make it 3-2. So, good stuff there from Brad as he will get it done with the double wild to end it, +4 in the wild. So, we got some people hopping in from the D2 match that just ended. Cody Goforth, his first career win. But Brad able to get the win there for game number 5 and the 21 card comeback, as this has been a bit of a long series so far. We're at 51 minutes and it's only about halfway through. Brad got the job done there. You were thrown back to 21 on the middle portion of that series, but slowly but surely worked your way through your hand and got it done. Just kind of your thoughts throughout that game, from the big setback with the 21 cards and just kind of slowly but surely making your way through the deck and eventually getting that 4-card run to the finish to win it.
So, like, right when I got sent to 21, I could have played a plus 20 because I had 4 plus 2s at that point. I could have sent Nick to 25 cards, I think. But I knew, like, Nick still had a few cards. He just used ammo. I knew I could use number efficiency to get down from 21, only having a few cards left. And then at the end of plus 4, didn't really set me back. I actually got my plus 4 from that plus 4 at the end and a green skip. Because I had the other plus 2s and the reverses basically the whole time.
All right. Able to hold on to the ammo well to get it done there. Nick, any comments from that game? You threw that plus 12 early there. Any thoughts on the move there? And would you still be good with doing that now, or would you maybe look for something different after how that one played out?
I still think it's the right play. Those were literally the only ammo cards in my hand, and he did a good job ISOing me on the blue and the yellow earlier. So he already knows that I'm weak on blue and yellow. If I don't use the plus 2s there, he's just gonna be able to eventually run that green, and then what I thought he'd be able to run the red to the finish eventually, one way or the other. So yeah, I mean, it could I have potentially won just holding on to the plus 2s and seeing what could have happened? Sure, but from my understanding, he probably had a lot of those reverses and skips in his starting hand already. So, I don't know. I still think I made the right play. Just Brad was able to capitalize off of it and get some nice draws off of it. It's just is what it is. I wouldn't change what I did though.
All right. Well, that will be it for game 5. Nick, you have the game 6 call here, 3-2 at the moment, but still a decent board to pick from. Just can't pick 10, 13, or 14.
I'm gonna do 11 cards.
All right, gonna fill in that one gap there we have not seen yet, and we'll start it off with a blue 4 for game number 6. All right, Nick gonna roll with blue, so will Brad. And that's actually going to open the door for Nick to go for the switch into yellow off the 0. Alright, and it's going to keep going on the yellow here. Double play from Nick to create some separation here for Nick. Definitely going to want to get this game win here. As if he goes 3-3 heading into Brad's homestand, that's not going to be a great feeling, especially with the power play disadvantage. But Brad going to switch it into red, doing what he can to put himself in the best spot to win this series, heading into his last homestand. But Nick going to just kind of keep rolling with the colors here, plays the red 2. Brad with a double red 1, so had a crossover covered if it happened. Nick just going to keep playing the red here. Ooh, we got a double play here from Brad. Gonna throw 2 cards Nick's way. Gonna take the lead. Bit of a scoreboard flip on that one. Nick is out on red. Brad gonna be able to keep it going. Yeah, Nick is in trouble here. Cannot find the red or the switch. Brad can, though, and he's gonna keep going with his plan A. Now, what does Nick do here? I think this screen switch will free him up, but I think the problem is, what do you do here? It's 9-3 at the moment, and Brad could be knocking on the door to a finish to tie this game up. It's just really going to be up to Nick to what he decides to do, but going to be a lot of decisions to make here. Alright. Nick going to make the play, and it's going to be a +2, so bit of a slap on the switch there. And we'll keep it going. Brad's still with the lead, though, but Brad is now out on green. No green left. Made the switch into green, but did not have anything. It doesn't get anything from that +2 either, it seems. And Nick gonna ditto the 6 to try to force another draw out of Brad. He will. That will tie the game. Actually, no, I'll give Nick the lead here. My mistake. Can Nick keep going on the green, or does he look to switch the color here? Going to be a double play here on green. Gonna go down to 4. And that's going to open the door for Brad to get the switch here. Does Nick cross over, or is he going to be in a bad spot? Or does he play yellow? Nick gonna just roll with yellow here. And that's gonna throw a few more questions for Brad here on what he must do. And also depending on what cards he ends up having in his hand. Really just kind of what are the options here? Does he have any options, or is he just kind of gonna have to go with the path he's been given? Gonna run with yellow for now. And Nick's gonna draw, so I think Brad was hoping he would run out on yellow, and Nick did run out on yellow, so works out for Brad there. Double ditto play on the yellow 2. Nick gonna keep drawing. Now Brad trying to climb his way back into this. And Brad gonna play the wild blue. That puts him in a good spot here. He's down to 3. Nick is at 5. It gets immediately a +2 to the face. And that's gonna flip the scoreboard. Not what Brad wanted right then and there, but still has that blue he wanted. Alright, blue 4, blue 7. Nick down the Nick is close. Brad trying to run this blue here. Can he find a run to maybe snatch this game up? Time for a minute. And not a finish, but has the +4. It was not feeling safe. Nick was at 2 cards, didn't want to risk it, plays the +4 into red. And now Brad is at 2 cards, Nick up to 6. What does Nick do? He has 4 more cards in his hand alongside the 2 he originally had. Does he have any options? Does he roll with red? Does he switch it? Does he have nothing and have to draw? We'll have to find out. He's going to switch it into green. Does this ice out Brad? It does. Brad with no green. Can Nick run the green, though? This has been some good stuff. This has been a very thoughtful and methodical game so far in this series. Both kind of just thinking through their plays, making the right moves, doing what they can to try to keep themselves alive here, and that green switch is ultimately going to be one that forces a double ice as Nick has no green. Brad with a top deck green 0. Is that the third 0? Yes, that is the third 0, so only a red 0 is left. They're going to keep drawing. Only switch that Brad has is the red 0 if he has it, and does not look like he will. Still 3 wilds, still 3 +4s left, so still a few +4s in the picture. Again, still a lot of the deck left. We only have 65. We still have 65 cards in the deck, so still a lot of time for something big to pop out of there. Both with top decks. Nick may have been holding on to that reverse, but Brad gonna put it back on the green 3 and looking for both the draw here, and that will be exactly what happens here. Both gonna continue the draw as we just hit 9 minutes in the game. Looking for our third straight game that goes over 10 minutes here. And this game has, this overall series has surpassed the hour mark by now as well. Wild blue. That's actually a, that's a pretty big wild here. Nick does not, okay, both players don't have a lot of cards. Brad's able to use it to get down to 2. Nick with another +2 on blue, and now he's down to 3. Brad is back up to 4. Both tied at 3. Both are, again, really low on the cards. This is anyone's game. This could ultimately come down to who gets what in the draws, and Nick has found a +4 and ends it at around 10 minutes. 10 minutes or 10 minutes, 1 second. Yeah, exactly 10 minutes there, and that's going to be 4-2 Nick, able to find the right lineup there to get that win. In a very intense game from both players there. A lot of moves to try to stall each other out, but in the end, Nick able to find a wild and a +4 there. Nick, I'm assuming both the wild and the +4 came off draws there, but just kind of your thoughts after that game, because both of you for a while were pretty low on the cards, like kind of in the 4 to 6 card range, and definitely felt a lot of tension there with that one, because any one wrong move could have cost you the game there. But just kind of your thoughts on the game overall, and kind of where you end up getting the wild and the +4 to end it there.
It's like running through a minefield with this guy. I mean, you got to really put a lot of thought into every single move, because he's able to really work the numbers. Like we saw last game, like if you give the guy a bunch of numbers, he can cook. He can cook. So you got to really pay attention to every single move that you make, every single potential break. You want to weigh the pros and cons of that. Ultimately, it just came down to me being able to pick up the wild and then the +4 off the draws. Once I had that, I was a lot more comfortable to push to the finish there, because it was scary having Brad that close to tying the series up, but ultimately nice to prevail and at match point now, so I'm feeling really, really good. I do got a AFK for like 2 minutes though. I'll be right back.
All right, while we wait for Nick here, Brad, kind of your thoughts on this game. Were there points where you were close to getting the finish there, or were you just kind of hoping to find the wrong move there to kind of capitalize and take the win?
Honestly, I think this game, once again, it's another case. I keep being in position to get a bailout, and then it just never comes. Like, all the last 3 games, except game 5, which I won, but the other games, I keep being in position, and then I get nothing, and then Nick gets a +4 or something, and I can't do anything. Like, hopefully, one of these times I actually get something good right away.
All right, well, it is going to be game 7. You do have the call here on this one. We'll wait a bit until Nick is back before we officially begin, but you can make the decision on what card start we go to. But going to look to try to win 3 games straight to try and make this comeback. All right, so this is the first time we repeat a card start here. Brad going to go back to 14. I wouldn't start yet until Nick is back, but yeah, we went to 14 game 4. Nick ended up winning that one in the long one, 17-minute game. We'll see if we get a repeat in that one, but this is the first time we're going back to a card start, and Brad's gonna look to try and ride the high tier here, so we're not getting much of the lower card starts. But yeah, Brad has returned. We're good to go. And we are going to start on 14 here for game number 7. And yellow +2. He'll start with us off in this one. All right. Brad gonna close the door on that yellow +2. Doesn't want to use it to its advantage right off the bat. We'll just kind of leave that one shut, but Nick gonna switch to red right off the bat on his first turn. Alright. Running red here. I do want to make a slight correction here. I said this series is over an hour. We still need like 3 more minutes before then because we have a 4-minute deduction from game 4, which I said 17 minutes. That was actually 13 minutes, so my mistake there. But switching over back into yellow and draw from Brad. Not a good sign early on here. Alright, so Brad out of the yellow there, but it's not really a weakness you want to expose early on. Nick gonna keep going here. Nick only has 1 power play, but that might be all he needs here. Brad's still with 2. We'll see if any of them come out in this game. Whether it's for a win or maybe defensive. Could be either or. Could also be neither comes out at all. Brad gonna switch it into red. Still no green so far in this game. Alright. Double play on the red, but Brad gonna switch it back into the blue. Nick will just keep going. Still running that plan A. Nick with a bit of a lead though. Brad has been mentioning looking for those bailouts here. Can you find a bailout with a draw? Won't find it there. We'll find a ditto from Nick. But yeah, both just gonna keep rolling on blue. Blue 3 from Nick. Still going. Crossover in the green from Brad. Does this help Nick or does it hurt him? Have to see. Plays the green 8, so had a switch on the 8 from before as well. Still going here. Brad has seen enough and is going to switch in the yellow. Throws a +2 down as well. And we'll take the lead with that one. It goes down to 3 cards. All right. We shall see what Nick does here. Nick behind. Brad really looking to try to get this game win, to try to kick off a comeback. All right, Nick gonna roll with the yellow for the time being. Will Brad be able to keep going on the yellow? No, he is out. That ultimately is going to be a defensive move there. Playing the +2 and switching the color. I think for Brad, his hope is that Nick can draw as well. Will not get it right now. Yellow 1 from Nick. Game is tied. Another draw from Brad. Still looking for that draw from Nick. And he will get it right there, so there's the draw. We're past an hour on the series now officially. See Pez popping in. Mentioning the Big Ohio nickname there. Nick gonna leave. Nick or Big Ohio is gonna leave the yellow reverse open. We'll see if Brad decides to capitalize on that. He will not. Nick's gonna close it the next turn with another top deck. Gonna be a yellow 5. I feel like Nick's gonna be more aggressive in trying to find that switch here. Brad maybe just kind of gonna be along for the ride. Just gonna see what he gets on this draw city. We'll see. Yeah, another draw there. Will Nick get the switch here? No, gonna keep on drawing. Alright. And Nick's gonna power play. Oh my goodness. Does he got a big top deck here? May have had something lined up on a different color, but just may have gotten a big plus. Yeah, maybe got a big +4 top deck there. We mentioned Brad was wanting that bailout there. Unfortunately, I think the bailout is going to go to Nick here, and that might be series, and yes, it will be, and that will do it. Nick going to get the win, and he moves on to his second straight Final Four this season, up to 7 wins on the year. What a phenomenal start for Nick here. Unfortunately for Brad, run comes to an end on this one. Just could not find that mirror. Just could not find that big draw that he was looking for, and Nick able to get what I believe was a top deck +4 there. And so that will do it. Nick, gonna start with that one just to confirm. Was that a top deck +4 that won you the series? And just kind of thoughts on how that game went overall as you end up winning it 5-2.
No, it wasn't actually a top deck +4. It was actually a top deck, I believe, yeah, red +2, because I had that. I just needed a way to get into either red or green, or for the connection to be built between the two colors. So the red +2 worked perfectly. Just that last game, it was really dictated by being able to get that yellow weakness exposed early. Because not only did it allow me to get that lead, but it also allowed me to feel a lot more comfortable just holding on to the +4 and drawing when he had that big chain from the green into the yellow and was down to 3 cards. I figured he probably just doesn't have any more numbers to draw on, and I should probably just keep it yellow. So Yeah, I feel like I played that really, really well. Just was able to get the right bailouts at the right time, as Brad alluded to. Sometimes it just comes down to that, whether the bot allows you to capitalize off those bailout opportunities or not. He played well. He's in the upper echelon of this league for a reason. I'm sure he'll be back to his usual crushing T3 ways next tournament, and I look forward to seeing that. Back-to-back Final Fours, man. I think even for me, with the lofty standards I put on myself, I don't think I could have imagined 7 wins and back-to-back Final Fours to start the year as how I would start my 2026. But it's been an incredible year on the table, and I'm looking forward to facing you in the next round, G. Should be a fun one.
All right, hoping for a fun one there in that one. We'll go to Brad here. And again, not the result you were hoping for there, but still a good tournament from you overall. You mentioned quality loss. You do end up winning your sectional in this tournament, and now you go into tournament 3, which has kind of been your bread and butter the last 2 seasons. But just kind of thoughts on your run from start to finish here, and just kind of your outlook moving into tournament 3, which has been your favorite from the past results you've been able to get in that run.
I don't know. Like, there's one game, like, game 4, I definitely could have used the power play to win. But other than that, I don't really know. Like, I was so close to getting bailed so many times, and then I just didn't get it. I don't know. Well, at least T3 is next tournament, and then I'll be a better seed. And hey, I'll take 3 wins. Could have been much worse. Oh well.
All right, 3-2 exiting this tournament, 16-15 game record overall. I would expect to see you in the top 25 post tournament 2, but if Nick keeps the run going, we'll move on to the final 4 to face myself. Hopefully that will be a good match here, but that'll do it. 3 of the 4 spots have been determined for this final 4. Got one more spot to determine. That'll be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time between Lane Sanders and William Brock in the Token Regional Final. We'll see who gets the job done there to face Ridley in the final 4, but should be a good end to the tournament here. Only 4 matches left plus the 3rd place game. Really coming down to the wire in the 2nd tournament of the season. Thank you all so much for watching this stream. That'll do it from us. We have our ref, Scars, our players, and everyone came out to watch. Appreciate you the support. And we will see you tomorrow for Lane and Brock to wrap up the All-Star 8. But we'll also have our first Medieval Mayhem stream match probably a little bit after that one at 9 p.m. Tomorrow, and that's actually going to be the return of Steven, who is the 2024 G2 champion, going up against Blake. So make sure you tune in for that. That'll be double coverage, and then Wednesday will be Medieval Mayhem stream day, as there's going to be 3 matches on that day there. So again, I got a lot of Uno coming up for you very soon, but Arcade April is nearing its final level here. We'll see who gets it done, but until then, I'm G-Man. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the conclusion of the All-Star 8. Until then, have a good one.
This has been a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 1.